Good evening, everybody. This is Orbital Audio, and welcome to Starlight, a show where I just talk about what I want to talk about. This week will actually be an analysis more than a typical review, so please keep that in mind. It will also be a video! Wow! Look at me! I'm Mr. Meeksix. I'm on YouTube. Now you can watch and listen as I talk about this week's topic. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's jump straight into orbit and discuss The Assassin. For those of you who haven't seen this film, I will say that there are spoilers ahead. So please, go watch the film and then come back and listen to my thoughts on the film. Or ignore me and listen to this as the impending doom of finals looms over us both. I'm gonna die. But you good? Good. Then the analysis for the 2015 film, The Assassin, starts right now! The first thing I ask myself is this film a masterpiece? After watching the film, I certainly think so, as it starts from black and white for the first 7 minutes of the film. The blending of the assassin in the foreground and the medium tones of the background show the shadow of the figure, but never fully seeing the full thing in detail until she wants to be seen. After the black and white scene was conveyed to be a flashback, it then brings the beautiful colors back onto the screen. To get a clearer picture, I'm going to break down an early scene, so again, if you haven't seen the film, go watch it! It's so good! Watch it! The scene cuts from black with a shot of a beautiful river with wildlife teeming through it. After a short time, the title card with Sanskrit and an almost blood-red color to it. It stands in contrast to the shadows of the environment behind it, with a drum beating throughout the scene. Eerily throughout. It almost acts as footsteps or heartbeat for what is to come. We then cut to a woman preparing herself with some assistance. The warm oranges and yellows with a touch of blue from the outside sky really make you feel like you're there, back in the ancient times where warmth or lack thereof meant life or death. It also gives context to it that this is royalty, as the gold possessions would indicate, and the fact that this woman has someone helping her with her hair. I wish I had someone that would make my hair look that good. A man then comes into the scene and informs her that a nun has arrived. The drums still continue to beat on. We then cut again to the nun in an almost blinding white as she sits, while the badass assassin we saw before stands firmly to her right, indicating that she must serve under her. Keep in mind, just as seen earlier, the assassin was forming someone off-screen, which would be assumed to be the nun, that they wouldn't kill because of a kid being there. The fact that a nun, of all things, would want an assassin to go and kill someone already speaks to the contrast in morals and the symbolism we usually associate with the colors. Usually in the West, we associate white to be holy and in touch with God, or even cleaner than the rest. To contrast that with black, a symbolic color of the unknown, destruction, and death, is already a sign that we won't be watching a typical action movie thrill ride. We then cut to the woman before who pays her respects and starts to bow, but the nun gets out of her chair and brings the woman back to a proper posture. The nun says the assassin has completed her training and then leaves. The rest of the women follow, except for the assassin. This scene instantly had me hooked. Who's the nun? Why is the nun contracting out kills? Who is the assassin? I want to know more, movie! Cause she's just so damn cool! Out of the way, Ezio! Yin Yang gives a way cooler vibe than you, mate. And the film does tell you more. But I won't, because if you watch the film, you'll know what happens. And if not, go watch it! But does The Assassin compare to films such as Mulholland Drive or even Tokyo Story? Yes and no. It does have its own qualities that make it stand out, but not the ways that those films do it. It certainly would have drama associated with the Tokyo Story with a slight touch of Mulholland Drive's sense of action, but not too much of the two to be entirely similar. The film is gaining the praise that it oh so rightly deserves, with a score of 80% on Rotten Tomatoes and a detailed review from Roger Ebert. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's the second best film critic ever, right behind Andre Bazin. If they're the second best, I would think it would be safe to say that they know what they're talking about. He basically highlights that the film is a slow process that takes the important parts of the story first and foremost before getting into the action. A quote from Roger would absolutely encapsulate the filming methods that The Assassin is attempting to convey here. Instead of rushing through the plot-oriented material in order to get to the action, Ho allows the story to reveal itself in a deliberately slow and occasionally digressive manner that prefers having characters recount their stories directly rather than streamlining the plot threads with flashbacks and other tricks. This hits a nail right on the head for the film, and I had felt the same way with it. It wasn't trying to use the action to lure you in. It was a story that got you invested first, and then threw in some action. Then I thought to myself, what madman would think this would be a good way to handle this brilliant material? Well, that would be none other than the director of the film, Ho Hsiao-hsien. Ho Hsiao-hsien? Ho Hsiao-hsien? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that incorrectly. Who had been mentioned in Ebert's review. He had been asked in an interview with Headstuff about his vision. He stated in response, "What film captures is the world of humans, a human condition, and to capture the changes in their emotion, their conflicts, and the obstacles they face. How you understand it depends on your own perspective. What motivated me to make films was how I saw these obstacles. Everybody grows up, everybody has their own life and experiences, but what sets someone apart is the ability to drive it from a distance. Then you can really see yourself. You might begin by watching others and then reflecting on your similarities, and you can eventually see yourself as an outsider. Your expression will then be unique. You can observe things that happen around you with your own perspective, which is not like anyone else's." That sentiment is certainly echoed in the film as well. According to The Guardian, Ho had taken the time to scout out locations that made him feel like he was, quote, stepping into a, end quote, a Chinese classical painting, end quote. That sentiment from Ho is so true, and it is so immersive. It felt like I was in an old-timey China watching a badass assassin kick names and take ass. Wait, as you guys have probably heard, this semester was kicking my ass. But you know what? I got to see some really good movies this semester, along with The Assassin. I was most surprised by this film, but also another too, The Imitation of Life. I thought I was going to go in with some boring melodrama about family and all that, like, but actually it turned out to have me bawling my eyes out in the end, upon my first viewing. And I recommend for you guys to watch it too. It's a compelling story of family issues, and that will stand the test of time. A daughter in love with the mother's fiancé, and another daughter who wishes to disown her own mother for the color of her skin. Now, it certainly wasn't my favorite, as The Invitation was my top pick for this semester when it comes to storytelling, in my opinion. So, here are my recommendations for you guys to watch over the summer break are the following films. The Imitation of Life, if you're looking for an emotional story with real struggles back in the day. The Assassin, the film we were just talking about, and if you aren't already hooked on the fact that there's a lady samurai thing, assassin killing bad guys, taking names, then what are you doing? Why are you still here? Go watch the movie. And then finally, The Invitation, a film that has a suspenseful build-up with a great payoff in the end. And that's my analysis on the film, The Assassin. Along with some other movie recommendations, I hope that you like it. Links to all the articles will be down in the description. Thanks for listening. I hope to keep making audios for you over the summer, but I don't think I will, since, reasons I have stated before in previous audios. But hey, I'm not giving this up. I'm not giving it up, mate. No, never. I also had polled you guys on Twitter and found that you guys would like to have me head over to Patreon. as Patreon is actually looking like a really good place to go, but I digress. It does have the benefit of getting funds for better equipment and software, which I am looking to actually invest in within the week. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Orbital Audio. It's been a long semester, and now I'm gonna take a nap, actually. I really need a nap. I need a week-long nap. This is Orbital Audio. Signing out. I really need to take a nap!